So talk to me about your Nanobios lab. What are the innovations? How many people work there? And how have you really built this ecosystem, if I were to call it? Because I see you as a co-founder in some companies, right? Not very often I find an academician actually being called a co-founder in a company. So clearly there is a very different mindset with which you are building those young minds. So talk to me about your lab and how what are the things that you build in the lab that you are actually working on.
Thank you very much. I'll start off with that co-founder statement and then go back. I am a co-founder in 15 startups now. So, again, I'm doing it in that 10x sort of numbers. I want to be a co-founder in 20 before I set an Adani Industries. That's my goal. So I want to set up, a holding company which will have these 20 companies under them, each one of them revenue generation, each one of them making an impact for this country. That's my final goal. I don't know whether I'll reach there or not, but that's something I keep in mind. Now let me go back to the beginning of this journey when I started out at IIT Bombay, and I was offered positions at different IITs. Of course, I chose IIT Bombay because I believed that we had an ecosystem which was in close proximity to industries. And Bombay being the financial capital, I knew that there would always be companies which would come and partner with us, which would actually come and give us problem statements that we could then solve. I had not thought that far ahead, but this was my thinking at that time. When I did join this department, I was the 12th faculty to do so. So far, there was not anybody who had ventured into sort of translation. There were people who were doing that. There were, I won't name them, but so far there was not a successful product. I believe that a lab needs to be different, and it needs to work on not just training people, because that's what we have been given as a mandate in IIT Bombay, not just for educating people, because that's again a second mandate, but also in terms of creating an impact. Now with these three things in mind, education, training and impact, I believe that I could do something different for this country. And that's what I am trying to tell to every faculty who joins IITs, IISCs, ICERs, any IISC, any of these colleges, NITs. Think different. Think how you can use the current ecosystem and create an ecosystem for this country which continues giving back to this country. We don't want people to go out of the country, and this is something that I inculcate in my students from day one. Most of my students, if you will believe me, of my 50 plus students are in the country. They are faculty of some or the other institute, or they are working for India, or they are working for some industry, but for India. And that's something I inculcated right in the beginning. I said, I want you to, even if you do go, you have to come back and you have to give back to this country. With that one thing in mind, we moved ahead and Nanobios lab was set up. In 5 years, I had decided that I did not want to go a standard professor route. And you know what the professor route is. They become an assistant professor. 4 years down the line, they're an associate. 4 years down the line, they're a full professor. I said, I'll do different. So every year that went by from our lab, we had multiple PhD students joining our lab, and I kept increasing that number. IITs allow at most 8 students to join a lab. And this is a standard number. We had 24 at a time. And I continuously believed in flouting rules, not for the for doing anything bad, but for doing good for the country, because I believe that the more people I train, the more benefit it will have in the future. And I think I have been proved right in that, but time will tell. Now, with that first 5 years, we set up a lab where our focus was products. And we said that we wanted to build products, start small, maybe show one success story. And then I'm sure that over the years, this one success story will lead to several successes. And that's what I keep telling everybody. Go after that one product that you think can be made with your expertise. And my expertise was engineering, my expertise was biomedical sort of interface. So I chose a product which I felt could be in that interface. So I could make assays, which is developmental work, and I could actually make an electronics around it. So we made a product, we put it in market. Over the last 10 years or so, we've put several products in the market now based on that one. but we got every award in this country. Now this is what I am really grateful for, is that Nanobios lab today stands tall amongst every lab in the country. Why? Because of the training that we gave these people. We actually made them think differently, that when you come in a lab like ours, day one you're thinking of setting up a startup at the end of your career. If you're not setting up a startup, you're probably transferring the technology to somebody to set up a startup. And that's my goal, and that's the goal that I keep working. Even today I'm meeting students every day and I'm encouraging them to set up a startup. Why? Because it doesn't help me in the long run more than what it has done, but it helps us that we have now more and more student turned entrepreneurs. We have more and more people thinking translation. We have more and more uh, students of ours, ex students of our training more and more students. So that's a cycle that will never stop. And if I have played a small role in that, I believe that over the next 15 or 20 years, you will see many, many more faculty doing the same thing and being able to help our country much, much more than what I have been able to do. So that's the story.